Good evening. Welcome to African Drums. I'm Elsie Harry, and I'm glad that you've joined me this evening. As we continue to celebrate Black History Month, we must remember not only the giants that have fought for and died for the emancipation of our people, for equal rights, and for the embracing of Black consciousness, but we must also take time to listen to our African youth who face and overcome their own challenges daily. They achieve the unimaginable and create a promising vision for our future. This evening's program will do just that. It is titled, The Vision of African Youth. My guests this evening are 3 medical students and future doctors. Amanda Amsterdam is a Guyanese, but spent a brief period of her life abroad. Nakubiana and Elijah are Zambian, but have spent the last few years studying in Guyana. Brother, sisters, welcome to African Drums.
Thank you.
Okay, and Naku and Elijah are actually singers, so we'll begin this program a little different with a song all the way from the shores of Africa.
Lesajiliwe Jesu kafisa memulimwe nangwa machusho ya fulande tushamulimwe lesotala babana nangu chabitisha along for kulila kwesu lintu tulechu la pe lesatala babana nangu chabitisha along for kuli la kwesu lintu tulechula pe along for kuli la kwesu lintu tulechula pe.
Okay, that was awesome.
Thank you.
I'm sure my viewers are welcoming the change on the show. So that song was in your language, right? Can you tell us a bit about what that song means?
Well, actually, the song is it's talking about how God does not forsake us, and He is our rock, and in times of trouble, he doesn't leave us alone. No matter what we go through, He's always there. No matter how much we sin against Him, God will always be there for us when we need Him.
Well, thank you. And viewers, I'm sure you're thanking them as well, even though they can't hear you, but that was really, really beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, so Amanda girl, we can't sing, but that's okay. Okay. Yes. So the first thing that I want to know from you, Naku and Elijah, what has it been like transitioning from Zambia to Guyana? What was it like leaving your homes to come and basically live here for the last few years?
Oh, ladies first.
Okay, ladies first, he says.
Well, it hasn't been easy actually, because of course I came here when I was quite very young. I was only 17 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been challenging, and one of the things that you get to challenges that you get to face when you go to a new place is adjusting to the language, the type of the way people speak in that country, the food, the culture, the time difference too, because back home is like 6 hours difference to here. So all that you need to adjust to all that, and it has been a great experience so far.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad it's been great, even though there have been some trials. What about you, Elijah?
Well, basically the same. So for me, actually, the first thing that hit me, I was like, okay, this is a different place. Was like the climate. You know, the weather is different. Okay. You have humid and it's warm. It's warmer here. I think it's because we're quite close to the equator. Yeah. So it's that kind of feeling. You know, you're getting off a plane and just there.
The heat is just
right there. The heat is right there. And
yes.
you know, funny enough, I came dressed in a jacket.
Well,
so I had to remove my jacket, my cab driver license. Just remove that thing. You're sweating. I said, fine. And then the other thing was just the uncertainty. You know, when you're traveling to a new place, you do not know what to expect. You really don't know what to expect. You don't know whether the person picking you up from the airport is a criminal.
Yes.
You know, things like that.
Yes.
So that was it. That was it. You know, just trying not to be, you know, like overused and things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
That was my experience mostly.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And Amanda, you've been living in St. Lucia for 3 years, and then you came back to Guyana. What was that like for you?
It was different. It was a major culture shock for me because, for one thing, growing up in Guyana, you enter a bus, you can strike up a conversation with the Guyanese very easily.
Yes.
But going to St. Lucia, they have to interact with you first before they open up to you and become extremely friendly. That was different. The food was different. I'm not a provisions girl. I know we have provisions here in Guyana, but for me, the food was different, and I had to really adjust. The transportation system, I'm accustomed to getting a bus and a car anywhere, anytime. But there, they had a schedule system, different times for different areas. So that was different for me. I had to really take time and adjust. The first day I actually cried because it was that challenging and that tough for me. But after a few days, I adjusted pretty well.
Okay. Well, see, I see that each of you faced similar challenges in adjusting to, you know, different places, but I'm glad that you're still here with us. Okay, so Naku and Elijah, I want to know, what was your upbringing like in Zambia?
Oh, okay. My upbringing was actually, what I say, great. It was fun because by then, the time I was still a kid, I wasn't on Facebook yet. And I didn't really have access to a phone.
Okay.
I actually got access to a phone after I completed my high school.
Okay.
So you can imagine it was always either with mom or dad and with friends, and you have to continue to play outside and make all these dolls and stuff like that. For guys, it was actually more fun because we'd run around playing soccer in the dust, and I had so many friends. I had so many friends. Would always go from house to house, you know, playing with people and so on. And then we also have this culture where you have every rainy season, every family has a piece of land where you go farming, and so with that, you always have to be with mom and dad and the rest of the family. You know, we have extended families, right?
Okay.
So with the extended family, it means more labor. So with all the labor, you get hoes, you know, you go and dig your fields and cultivate your fields. The staple food in Zambia is maize, right? So you'd get whatever tools you're using, go farming for maize, and mom would give me a bed where to do my project. Maybe it would be either beans or popcorn, just a few of them, not a big one, just something small. Since I was a small boy, and that was the kind of upbringing I've had. Spent most of my time in boarding school though.
Okay.
Also, yes. So spent most of my time in boarding school, and that really brought out responsibility.
Okay,
Yes.
that's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was.
Yes. Naku, what about you?
Well, growing up in Zambia was actually fun. I remember when we were young, we used to play so many games. We'd spend most of the day just playing with friends, and by the end of the day, you are so tired and you're white, just white, the whole body, and you just have to go and take a bath and eat and sleep. Oh yeah, that was fun. And to that, my mom would remind me of some of the games that I used to love to play, and that I really appreciate that a lot. Well, another thing was, for me, in my family, we never really had access to television like most of these children do nowadays. So it was mostly just playing with your kids sisters or brothers or just friends around. And that really helped a lot because it also brought out a love for reading. My dad had a library, so we would read most of the books in the library.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically that was how I grew up. And well, I also had to go to boarding school very early because that was like the only better way of me getting a better education.
Okay.
So yeah, I went to boarding school quite early, and I spent most of my childhood actually in boarding school. And I learned a lot from the experience that I had there, how to be responsible for my own things. I would go home sometimes and I have lost everything my parents gave me. And I would get scolded by my mom, but eventually I got to be a responsible person.
Okay, well, that's good. Amanda, what about you? Tell us about your upbringing in Guyana.
Well, my experience was a good one. Growing up, I know of my neighbors coming into my yard or I'm going into their yard and we're singing folk songs, playing together, hopscotch, these different games, and going as groups to things like to watch Mashramani and cultural events. So that was a basic part of me getting to know my culture, getting to know Guyana, getting to interact with other kids. Also, I came from a very strict household, and they brought me up in where they're saying education is important. So I have to toe the line with a lot of things. So I had my fun here and there, but basically I had a focus, and they were not going to allow me to stray from that. Basically, that was my experience.
Okay, so we see there are a lot of similarities in how each of you grew up. Okay, so I want to know which area of, well, I would have said this in the introduction that the three of my guests are all medical students. So tell me what area of medicine you want to specialize in and what's the reason for this choice.
Well, for me, I'm actually not very sure at the moment what area I would like to specialize. I have different options, maybe neurosurgery or orthopedic surgery or maybe internal medicine. Well, I still have to make up my mind. I still have time, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but what led you to medicine?
Well, medicine has always been a part of me since I was very young. I always wanted to be a doctor. And I think it's a good way of reaching out to people and helping them, showing empathy and sympathy to others, and being able to put others first before your needs. Because as doctors or medical students, we also have to sacrifice so much just for the benefit of our patients. So that way, it kind of helps you to be selfless and to learn to put others first.
Okay. What about you, Amanda?
Well, there's a rule in medical school. You don't decide what you want to specialize in until you hit the hospital. So I grew up saying that, okay, I want to become a gynecologist because I like the physiology of the female body, the complexity of it. I like the miracle of birth. So I said, okay, this is my area. I can venture into this. But when I actually started GPHC, I saw different specialties, and I'm trying to say, okay, maybe I might change my mind on what I want to get myself into. But as of right now, I'm still sticking to gynecology. Okay. But it might change, you never know.
Okay.
And what interested me, like most people, when I was young, I was about the age of 6, and my grandfather was dying, and everyone was rushing to his bedside. And what I couldn't have done anything. I was only 6. So I felt helpless, and I made a promise right there and then that I'm never going to allow myself to feel helpless like that to family, friends, or the general public. If I can help, I wanted to be a healthcare provider. I knew that from the very beginning.
Okay. What about you, Elijah?
For me, from a young age, I always wanted to do medicine. However, as regards the specialty, not yet sure. So I have my eye on pediatric surgery. I love kids. I feel it's unfair for children to die before they get the chance to experience what else is out there for them. And I would really love to see them grow up and have experience life and give their parents at least some more time with their children. And so pediatric surgery, of course, would be my number one option when it comes to specialization.
Okay, well, I wanted to be a doctor too, but I'm terrible at math and anything to do with numbers, and so I'm like, you know what? Let me not kill anybody. So let me stay away from that. You know, social sciences is my area of specialty. You know, I like to talk. I'm good at that. I'll do, social science. So that happened. Okay, so tell me, what are some of the challenges that you faced in your life, and how have you overcome those challenges?
There's a lot to pick from.
Yeah.
See, and people like to think that young people don't have challenges, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
God.
For me, basically, when I wanted to venture into medicine, I had a few people who were not in my court, to say. They were not supportive, but I had to prove myself that, hey, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go after it. My mom gave me this analogy of a bus. You have to have positive people on your bus and let the negative people off. So growing up, I came to the realization that, hey, this makes sense. So I had to do that and say, hey, I want to this is my journey, this is the end result. So I had to take the negative people away from my environment, let the positive people on board. And that's what helped me to overcome that challenge. And here I am about to graduate, and it's all about persevering as a help me.
And I like your analogy too, and I hope my young viewers are listening to that, the analogy of the bus. That's actually a very good analogy. Big up mom. What's your mom's name?
Philippa Valley. Philippa Valley.
Philippa Valley?
Yeah.
Well, big up mom. You did an excellent job.
Well, for me, I think one of the challenges that I've had to face was the time I was struggling with depression. Yeah, I kind of had depression at some point, and well, it was really hard, and it's not something that people would really say. You'd really talk to somebody and they would understand what you're saying, right? But over time, I learned to get counsel from people, even without asking them for it. So I'll just maybe ask them indirectly, but I'll get their counsel and be able to apply it in my own life. And it has helped me so much. And right now, I sometimes get depressed, but it's not as much as I was before. And I thank God for that, because God really played a major role too during that period.
Well, I know this is something definitely that Guyanese youth can, it resonates with them, because, we have had an issue with suicide in Guyana. And I think a lot of it is because of depression. So that is a similar struggle that Guyanese youth face, and we're actually trying to assist with that problem in Guyana. So you're not alone, definitely not.
Sure.
Well, for me, one of the biggest challenges that I've always faced would be the challenge of what I would call uncertainty. Because as a youth growing up, wherever you are, whether it's here or it's in Zambia, as a young man, you always want to, be independent.
Yes.
Yeah, be self-reliant, and to develop yourself as much and as fast as you can. When you're still a baby, 0 to 10, nobody's pressuring you and everything is okay.
Yes.
Start reaching 10 to 15, responsibilities start coming in. And so at that point you realize, okay, I'm supposed to be doing something, right? By the time you hit your teenage years, 15 to 18, you discover there's some things that cannot be provided by your parents all the time. You can't go on asking mom and dad for everything. And so you need to be doing something. And so the challenge for me basically was getting to learn that if I don't start doing something, then I won't have exactly what I want. I'll have to wait all the time. And I was a bit impatient in some points. So
We all were.
so you can imagine I always had to try one project and fail at it, and then go for another one, fail at it. But what I would say is perseverance, determination gets you where you are. I have a small history of trying this and failing, but guess what? I'm now doing medicine.
Exactly.
Right? And I'm now at med school.
Not many people can say that.
Yes, I'm now at med school and I'm pushing through. I'm working hard at it, and I hope by the end of it I'll have my career set and everything. But these challenges are always there to teach us one thing. If you can't defeat it, then you learn from it.
Yes, that is. So we've gotten some really good messages from the trials that you face. See how easy it is to assist somebody who's going through a trial by just talking about your trials. Okay, so I want to know, who is your role model, and why do you look up to this person? Nako, I see you smiling, so go ahead.
Well, actually, when I came in here and he was telling me, I actually don't have a role model. I'm like, me too. I don't really have a role model. But there are people actually that we look up to in medicine. People like Ben Carson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw the story.
For all that they have achieved and the hard work that they had to put in from their background, you can see how they had to put in so much work to be able to be where they are. And even other doctors too, even in GPHC, you have other doctors too that would really inspire you to become the best doctor that you could be. And so you get inspiration from different people.
Okay, so shout out to the awesome doctors at GPHC who have inspired Naku.
Sure.
Hope you're watching.
Sure.
Okay, for me, when I started my surgery rotation, I met with a young doctor that recently came back from Cuba. Her name is Dr. Welsh.
Big up Dr. Welsh.
She has no idea how much she has impacted my short stay with her, experience with her. I used to shadow her a bit, and she was so willing to teach me, and I saw how she conducted herself. Even the consultants, when she wasn't present, said, okay, she's a very good doctor. She takes criticism, constructive criticism very well. She doesn't put her tail between her legs and run like most would do. And just to see how she conducts herself in the wards with that confidence, and that made me look up there and say, hey, if she couldn't do it, I could do it too. Because sometimes you have those moments where you're like, what am I doing here? And you're scared and you feel timid. But seeing how herself and a lot of other doctors too, Dr. Percival is another one, those are two role models that made things look easier for me than I'm thinking of for myself that is so hard.
Okay. So, well, Dr. Welch, I hope you're watching. Big up to you. Continue to do the great work that you do at GPHC. Okay, so let us talk about how do you manage social and personal pressures as young people? For example, wanting to raise a family versus your medical career. Go ahead.
Kind of hits home for me.
Okay.
I remember when I was in my second year. I'm 25 now. When I was in my second year, I told my mom, okay, when is medicine going to finish for me? Because basically you're sacrificing your life to save other people's lives in the future.
True.
But you want to stop and say, okay, but what about me? I want to start my life. I was studying one time and I saw that they say 28 is where a woman's fertility starts to go down. So I started to panic, like, I want a family. I don't want to wait till then to start. But basically, a lot of people pressure you, especially as young women, to educate yourself first. Finish your degree before you start thinking about I understand that, I respect that. I see the wisdom in it. But also, one piece of advice that I got from a doctor in St. Lucia, he said to carry your relationship along. Don't wait until you graduate, because speaking with one of the doctors that I met here, she said, Amanda, when you actually become a doctor, you're going to see how hard it is to date. Your focus is, your life is the hospital, basically. So I can see the wisdom in dating someone and going through. Then when you graduate, if you and your partner say, okay, 6 months from now, you have that time to
Yes.
get married and start your life. But basically, I'm about to finish, like I said. So I see myself starting my family soon.
Okay.
It's a challenge for young women, because
Yes.
a lot of girls in my class used to cry out about that thing. Oh, I'm not seeing anyone. What's going to happen to me? When am I going to get married? So it's something that a lot of female people, women, in med school suffer with the whole thought of that.
Okay, and I haven't heard a whole lot of discussion about this, which means we need to start opening up discussions about this, because I know back in the day, for example, my parents would tell me, oh, your career first, relationship after, but I think there's a difference between jumping head first into something, for example, just deciding, okay, I'm just going to have some children and figure out how I'm going to take care of them, rather than making a plan and saying, okay, at this point in my career or in my studies. I'm going to have a relationship, and I'm going to build on that so that at the end of my career, I have my family, as well as I have my career. Okay. What about you, Naku, and then we'll do you, Elijah?
Well, for me, actually, at the moment, I'm not in a relationship, really. So, and I don't really have so much pressure.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, as to whether I'm in a relationship or when are you going to be in a relationship or anything. Well, mostly because I'm still quite young. I'm only 21, so yeah, I can still make a decision in the next 2 years or something. Well, I actually do want to have a family too. Even when I become a doctor, I want to have a family, have children, and even in the face of going on with my career, but too, I want to have a family too. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Elijah?
Being a young man, pressures are always there. The pressure to have a family. You know, I'll talk to my grandma once in a while, and she'll be like, so when are you coming? And when are you bringing her so she can come see me, and so on. And we'll keep talking about, when time comes, and so on and so on and so on. I'm in a relationship. I already have a fiancé. But trying to manage in between having a career and having everything else is, I would say, all about a priority, right? You will want to prioritize one or the other. It depends on what you want. As a doctor, I plan to have a family at some point. That is very true. But I also believe that if I really want this, I can make it work. You see, I can make it work. If I choose to get married immediately after my specialization, that's up to me. If I choose to get married after my graduation immediately, that's up to me. If it's during internship, it's all up to me. You understand? It's all up to me and what me and my fiancé decide to do. Yes. Otherwise, pressures are always there. Because remember, being a doctor, as Amanda said, it's putting your life second. Instead of being with my mom, I'll have to be with a patient's mom. You understand? If the patient is the mother, then I'm at the bedside. If the patient is the father, I'm at the bedside all the time, trying to find out what's wrong and trying to treat them. It is an honor. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's an honor, such an honor and a privilege to not to give life, but to save life. You understand? To save a life and to see the person look you in the eye and say, "Thank you, doctor," and "Thank you," and you can see the sincerity in their eyes. That is wonderful. That's the most amazing feeling you can ever have.
True.
Yeah, but of course, you are also human.
Yes.
You have needs. You understand?
Yes.
Yeah. So priorities, I would say, is my basic strategy for everything.
Okay, and I like how you said it's up to me. A lot of our young people need to know that it is up to you. Whatever you decide with your career, when you want to have a family, it is up to you. Their advice is useful, but at the end of the day, you have to make whatever decision you're comfortable with. So I'm happy that you actually said that. Okay, so Amanda, what are some of the challenges that you think that Afro-Guyanese youth face?
Okay, I would have to say, you're telling us to go educate ourselves. We're doing that. We're coming out with these big fancy degrees and so on. But then, there's no job.
Yeah, opportunities.
Right? You're telling me, okay, don't be a bum on the road, educate yourself. I did that. What next? So they're not, even if they have the jobs available, they're telling you, oh, you need this amount of experience. How am I going to get that experience if you're not the one to help me gain that experience? And when they turn to crime, you're mad. You're sitting there judging, and you could have provided a way out for them, but you chose not to give them. And also, what I would want to see happen is they provide workshops, skill. Not everyone is going to be a doctor, lawyer, teacher.
Yes.
People need to come to realization with that. So provide skill-based programs for these youths so they wouldn't turn to crime. I think that's the number one issue that Afro-Guyanese are facing.
Okay. And Naku, you told me you were speaking to some of your friends and they told you about some of their challenges. Do you want to share those?
Yeah. Actually, one of the challenges they actually brought out was illiteracy and poverty among the youth. And I think if parents would emphasize more on the education of their children and going to school and having something to do in life, some purpose, that would help to bring them out of illiteracy and out of poverty too. Yeah.
And tell me about some of the challenges that the youth in Zambia face.
Well, I guess it's pretty much the same. Zambia too has a high level of illiteracy. So you have people who are youth who are very illiterate and poverty too. So all those issues, I guess we too in Zambia have to be able to address those issues and come up with solutions for some of these things so that we may be able to have a better future for our young people.
Okay. Elijah, do you have anything to add?
Oh, I would also want to add to say, I think there is also a serious lack of opportunities. You see, an opportunity is not just a job, right? It's not just somebody gives a job and, okay, you're working and at the end of the month, you have a salary. An opportunity how easy is it for a youth to create or come up with an idea that he can benefit from? Yeah, you understand? There are so many things that we, the youths, understand, right? And there are so many other issues that we, the youths, have the capacity on our own as youths to alleviate. Such things as informal employment. That's a very good field. You have youths who can draw, really bring a picture to life.
Yes.
You know, you have people who can give you services that at the end of the day, you're like, okay, wow, this is wonderful. You see, you have people who can really barb nice hair, people who can really plait. You know, all these are avenues. But how easy is it for these people to create those jobs for themselves? If that could happen easily, I mean, at least a good part of the population in my country would be better off because they wouldn't have to wait. Because, you know, we have a system where I think it's everywhere, where it's at the age of 65 or 75, where somebody's supposed to retire and then start receiving benefits, right?
Yes.
But look at the age difference. A youth is someone probably from the age of 15 to, is it 40 or 35?
35.
35. Yeah. So now, if you're telling me a youth is supposed to be employed while somebody else is turning 65, at what point are you going to employ them? When they're 50? You understand?
Precisely.
Yeah.
That is a very good point.
Yeah. So if there is a better way to put things where youths can easily get access to either it's small loans or whatever it is, empower them. Let them go out there and create their jobs and you'll be fine.
See, well, these are two very important things. On one level, there are some youth that you have to create employment for. And then on the other level, you have to empower other youths to be the creators of employment. Because when they create employment, it's not just for them. They open a business. Other young people will benefit from that as well. So that is a good point for both of our governments to note, actually, and even those in the private sector, that a lot of young people, they have ideas, they want to do something better for themselves, but they don't have access to opportunities. And I think that is the key word there, opportunities. Okay, so tell me about, aside from your career, and even including your career, what is your personal goal as a young person? What are the things that you want to achieve?
Well, for me, well, of course, apart from becoming a medical doctor and being a best doctor that I can be, I want to have my own hospital, like build a hospital of my own, and be able to employ others and help create jobs for others, and also have a better healthcare system and being able to provide healthcare to the community.
Okay, that's good. Have you thought of what you're going to name your hospital?
Well, not yet.
Okay. Amanda, you?
Well, for me, I share the same thing. I don't have my eyes set on a hospital because for me that would be broad. But I have my eyes set on owning my own clinic, have my own practice. and also on the side, I would like to give back to my community. I want to focus mostly on young women. I'm hoping to start a community outreach program that would help mentor them, encourage them. Because all my life growing up, I've been counseling people, encouraging them. So I think I have a passion there. So I think I want to see where that can take me.
Okay, and that's good. Both of them are good. Elijah?
Oh, for me, basically in the same line. So with me, I would love to have whatever I do, at least leave the world a better place than I found it, right? If it means creating, as I said, opportunities for youths, I would have to do that as a medical doctor. I believe strongly in giving back to the community, just like Amanda, and I believe there are so many ways in which we can give back to our communities, whether it's free healthcare, whether it's free drives of nutrition and so on. We can always do that, but whatever it is, we should at least make the places where we are better than we found them. Our communities, our towns, and our workplaces, wherever it is. And I would also want really to specialize with the youths. I would really want to specialize with the youths because I believe youths are not leaders of tomorrow; they're leaders of today. Yeah, they are involved in so many decisions to be made, and whatever decisions are made today affect mostly the youths that are growing. So I would love to encourage the youths to get on board. Whatever you're doing, at least make your place better. At least leave it better than you found it.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, and I think those are all excellent goals for yourself. As for me, I plan to be president. But that's a whole other discussion. That will probably take an hour, so we won't talk about that. Okay, what is your vision for the future of your countries? Well, Guyana for you, Amanda, and Zambia for you too, and also, what is your vision for the future of our world in general?
Well, for me, I think the vision that I have for my country is to be able to see people having access to good education and good health care, and even also to have good governance, because poor governance brings about all of these issues that we struggle with. So those are like some of the things that I would want to see happen in my lifetime, at least to make changes in the world that we live in, and even in my country, to be able to see people becoming more literate and to be able to see them living decent lives. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know it's cliche, but I would like to see people in Guyana come together a little bit more, and they have improved.
Yeah.
Recently, when I came back, I saw how patriotic everyone was, and it pleased my heart so much. So I want to see more of that. I want to see the crime rate go down. People should be comfortable to step foot out of their home. They shouldn't be scared. This is their country. They have to live just like everyone else and provide for their families. I just want to see the crime rate go down and youths empower themselves a little bit more, because I see an uprising happening. So I just wanted to see that propel a little bit more. And in the world as a whole, I guess when it starts in small countries, it will have a ripple effect, and the whole world will be a better place as a whole.
Okay. What about you, Elijah?
That's the big one. The vision for my country. Wow.
Yeah.
That's the broad one. Definitely, I would love to see a more prosperous country. I would love to see a country where people are free to express their views and not be discriminated against or be judged because of the diverse views that they hold. Because, through diversity, we have unity. Yes. No matter how different we are, we can still unite for a better cause. And in Zambia, what we have is our health sector is a bit, it's shaky, and I would love to see that improve tremendously. Because when you have a very good education sector, you have a very good health sector, and the civil service is good, that's a better country automatically. Infrastructure development comes in automatically, as long as there are good laws and governance is good. For the world, I would love to see a more tolerant world, a more peaceful world. I know it's a kind of utopian system, but I would love to see that happen at least one time. Just if we could fight hunger, fight poverty the way we fought smallpox until it was eradicated.
Yes.
That kind of spirit could, bring about very good results for us.
Okay, and I like your visions for the future of your country and the future of your world. I think those are very good things to have. So while we're celebrating Black History Month, what I want to know from you is, in Zambia and in Guyana, what is the consciousness like of young African persons? Are they very conscious, not very conscious? Like, what is it like?
Well, in my country, things are quite good. They are very conscious about traditions and culture. It is now that people have come together to, being in Africa, tradition is always there.
Yes.
Whether you want it or not, it's there.
Yes.
Just where you have Black History Month and so on, we have traditions full of it. Almost every month is dedicated to specific tribes and specific so on.
Okay.
And it's so good. It doesn't matter who you are. If you want to go to the other tribe to celebrate with them, it's so nice. Yeah. Right now, we the youths, I think, have to get more educated about our own traditions and cultures, and for that to happen, of course, it will require sensitization and working hand in hand with communities. I think that will be good for us.
Okay, but I'm glad to hear that every month there is a different celebration, and tradition is everywhere, and I love that. Okay, what about you, Amanda?
Well, for me, what I see right now in Guyana with the Afro-Guyanese, I think they're more focused to the U.S., Canada, what's happening there. I think we've strayed away from our traditions, our culture. Ask a 6-year-old, sing a folk song for me, they can't.
That's true.
Right? And I have a problem with that. Because when I went to St. Lucia, the group of Guyanese that I went with, we were singing our folk songs and everyone was amused and they were excited about it. Sing more. We have rich culture, but the youths are so focused on what's happening abroad, they're losing connection with their roots. And I think that needs to change. The parents have to step up and teach their children where they came from and help them to be proud of it. And I think we will make progress with that.
I agree. And I remember when I was little, when I was about 6 years old, that's the last memory I had from before I left Guyana when I was 6, in Berbice, whenever there would be blackout, we know how often that is. Whenever there would be blackout, we would all gather in my grandmother's yard and we would sing folk songs. Jane engaged, and she think nobody like she. And I remember those songs, and I remember in school you had to sing songs like "Oh Beautiful Guyana." These days, when you ask the children, do you know these songs? Some might know it, some might not. And you remember the pride you used to feel singing, "Let us cooperate for Guyana." And I'm sure it's the same way in Zambia, where these songs were taught in schools, right?
Yes.
So I think we need to get back to that place where we learn our folk songs, we learn our heritage, and this will help us to, I honestly believe that this will help some of the brain drain. Because I mean, if you feel connected to a place, even though it gets hard and you have to go abroad to educate yourself or to be advanced in this life, you will eventually come back. That love for your country will remain. So policy people who are listening, Ministry of Culture, all of you, please take note. Thank you. We're winding down. The time is almost up. So the final thing that I want to talk about is, if you had the opportunity to speak with a gathering of African youth in search of a dream, what words of wisdom would you share with them to help them realize their dreams and their goals?
Well, there are so many things that as young people we can venture into, and don't just limit yourself to just becoming a doctor or becoming a lawyer. There's so many. It's broad. It's a broad field of professions that you can choose from, and with hard work, determination, and focus, you can be able to achieve whatever you set yourself to do. And of course, that goes with discipline too. And so, whatever career that you want to choose, you can actually do it if only you believe in yourself and go out there and achieve what you want.
Okay, great. Thank you for that.
Well, for me, I would encourage the youth to not be detoured when you face failure. I've had many times where I've failed in life, and a lot of people, oh, you're not going to turn out to be anything. But people fail to realize that failing once, twice, 3 times, that's actually helping you to build your character, build your determination, to really challenge you. Is this really what I want? So I would tell them, first, sit down and realize what you want to do. Surround yourself with people who are going to inspire you, encourage you, and help you to get there. And you're going to be fine. Don't let failure one time make you want to throw your arms down and say, okay, I give up. A lot of great people in this world, they can attest to the fact that they've failed more than 3 times.
Exactly.
And they have found success.
Elisha, what advice would you give?
For me, finding your dream and definitely will take up passion, right? It takes what you love and what you want to do. As a youth, I would tell them it's okay not to figure out exactly what they want to do there and then, because things change, and there are some other things that happen that you can control, while others you have really no say over. So once you realize you do not know what you want to do yet, it's still okay. The only thing I would advise is have the courage to do what you want, regardless of what anybody else tells you, regardless of what anybody echoes at your back. You know, the naysayers are always there to give you the fuel or to propel you forward.
Yes.
You know, you understand? So when somebody says no, use it as fuel to say, I can do it. You know, I can give an example of Obama. If Obama had listened to everybody who says, no, you can't, he came up with, yes, we can. You understand? So as youths, we should always have that kind of spirit, that kind of zeal to say, I can do anything. Let nobody stop you. You have everything that you need right where you are. Making a goal or a vision for yourself, you always have to start big, right?
Yes.
Don't limit yourself. Go big. Go as high as possible. My father once told me, you know what? The sun is no longer the limit. The sky is no longer the limit. You know, you aim at you aim at the sun, so that if you don't reach the sun, you end up as one of the stars. You understand? So at least aim higher and aim forward, so that if your dream becomes too big and then you discover anybody says no or whatever they say to you, then realize they probably have a small mind. They can't comprehend your dream.
Yes.
You understand? Yes. Being a dreamer is not a problem. It is the actions also that correlate with your dream. As you said, it will take discipline.
Yes.
It will definitely take discipline, and whatever you want to be, you have to start now.
Yes.
Procrastination doesn't help anyone. Procrastination, one person once said, procrastination is the grave where all plans and all things that would have been are buried right in there. So if you don't do it today, somebody else will come up with it and do it while you watch. So as youths, let's have that kind of spirit, knowing we are the leaders of today, and whatever we do, let's be the change that we want to see. Understand? I think that's it for me.
Yes, and I'm sure the youth that are watching really appreciate the advice from all of you, from hearing about your challenges, from hearing the similarities between the challenges and the successes of Zambian youth and Guyanese youth. So thank you for being on the program this evening, and I hope that this isn't the first and the last time that I'll have you on the program. I look forward to having each of you again.
Thank you
for
very
having
much.
us.
No problem. And viewers, I want to thank you for staying with me. This has been African Drums, the television organ of the Coffee 250 Committee, an organization dedicated to the empowerment of the African Guyanese community through education and the encouragement of self-activity. Remember to like our Facebook page. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel for videos of the show. Send us an email, coffee250gy@gmail.com. Please support us and please donate to the cause. And I'm actually running the video live on Facebook right now, so if you want to go and check it out, you don't have to wait for it to be posted on YouTube. It's my Facebook page, LCA Harry-Ross, I think. So you can go and check it out. And I'm really inspired by the program this evening, and I hope that you would have been inspired too. Please join me next week, and happy Black History Month.